Who lied to you and told you you was untouchable? Now your ego got you moving irrational. Too many yes men got you lost in illusions, disconnected from the truth and the consequences too. Who lied to you? Who lied to you? Made you think the whole world revolve around you? Who lied to you? Lied to you? Now reality knocking and nobody around. I seen weak minds turn arrogant overnight, cause a little fake praise had them feeling godlike. Everybody clapping but nobody being honest. Now your confidence inflated beyond logic. That's the danger of surrounding yourself with fame, instead of people that'll tell you when you're wrong as a man. Now you're moving reckless thinking nobody can touch you. Reality patient though, it eventually confronts you. I've seen kings fall from imaginary crowns, cause they believed every lie whispered into their soul. Social media got people addicted to applause. Validation from strangers became emotional drugs. You confuse attention with actual respect. That's why your circle get quieter when pressure connect. Real ones criticize cause they want to see growth. Fake ones hype destruction while you're burning too close. Too many people worship ego over wisdom and blame everybody else when their world starts shifting. You gotta stay grounded even when you up high, cause pride make a person self-destruct in disguise. Who lied to you and told you you was untouchable? Now your ego got you moving irrational. Too many yes men got you lost in illusions, disconnected from the truth and the consequences too. Who lied to you? Who lied to you? Made you think the whole world revolve around you? Who lied to you? Lied to you? Now reality knocking and nobody around you. You started believing every compliment you heard. Now your feet off the ground and your vision distorted. Can't nobody correct you without bruising your pride. So you isolate yourself while your arrogance rise. I seen talent get.
What's up, good people out here in the best ball world? We are live and direct coming at you on the West Coast. We got Midnight Mondays. Yes, it's going to go down tonight with a BBM draft here on the midnight eve. It's already 11:50 on the East Coast, 11:50 p.m. and 8:50 here on the West Coast. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into this BBM draft very soon, as we are coming with you on Midnight Mondays. That's your guy, Young Moolah. And yeah, we are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively, we are grateful and blessed. Guidelines to achieve and build, GAB Sports. And yeah, we're going to do a BBM right out the gate. Yeah. And we don't worry about what you're thinking about, no plus EV coming in on my stream. Come on here and get your ass kicked all around the draft room, because we are ready to go. We hyped up, and we're going to keep it cracking over here on this stream. Our guy, Lawsimo. Well, thank you for checking in with us, Lawsimo. You going to jump in too? All right, my man. Let's do this very shortly. So, but first off, we want to go ahead and start off the show with this intro, and then we'll be right back in 1 minute to kick off everything. All right, hold on.
I read the board like maps, 3 moves ahead, no cap. You draft on vibes and dreams. I build my league from scratch. My bench got hidden gems. Your roster full of names. I spot the league before it shows, then pour salt on the game. I trade like a casino, flip risk in the gold. You chase last week's fireworks, I chase the box score code. I know the soft matchups line up buffets in rain. I turn a sleepy Sunday into a money train. Check the line, I'm locked in. Every pick got teeth. You bring a hot take, I bring season long receipts. I got the crown. Draft day, I run this town. Stack my wins, cash my clout. Say my name when lights go out.
It's your boy, Young Moolah, man. All right. We are back. Yeah, let me go ahead and adjust this a little bit. Let's see what's going on with the camera. A little fuzzy. get our focus on. All right, well, hopefully it'll clear up very shortly here. Maybe I need a little more lighting. Let's add a little more lighting to the room. But yeah, we want to talk about our subscriber goal as well as we're trying to adjust this lighting here. Let's go ahead and make it a little brighter if we can. Make it a little brighter. Yeah, our subscriber goal, we want to reach 300 subscribers. And to do this, we're going to need your assistance. Okay? And your assistance is going to be required so we can go ahead and reach our subscriber goal so we can offer something back to the community. All right? Because I'm also in the DFS space, and we also do picks. We're going to do picks this year as far as NFL games. And so you can go ahead and check out our archives where we did DFS last year. And we also did the playoff picks. And we go ahead and documented that in our archives. So check those out so you can get a bit of a preview of how we approach things and what our strategies are as far as DFS and as well as making picks on games, because Vegas is real sloppy in the early going. That's what I've noticed in my time of taking advantage of them over the early part of the season. They can't really know how teams are going to be early in the season. They got to get a gauge. So they're kind of rusty at the beginning. The Vegas lines are soft at the very beginning of the season, so we can try to jump on them right there. But right now we're at 100, around 100 subscribers on our road to 300. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Go ahead and tell your friends all about us here at GAB Sports as we are continuing to bring you the goods, dropping jewels each and every night. We got a schedule, as you can see, if you looked at the schedule we had in the video, where we are coming at you 4 days a week now at different times right now. But it's also, we're just checking out these different times to see what's really going to work, what's really going to stick, and the best times. And I found out, for me, I like coming in at this midnight Monday and doing a couple drafts late in the evening. Sometimes you can get people that may not be quite as focused. They could be getting a little groggy. They might be coming home from the club or whatever, having a drink, a little nightcap. And so we come in real relaxed after eating dinner. It's barely 9 o'clock here on the West Coast, and we are ready to do some drafting. And as you noticed, our player that we had on the thumbnail is a guy on a team that is very explosive and a team that is very popular as well in these streets right now, the Los Angeles Chargers. And we are talking about one Quentin Johnston. And we want to win a meal ticket. What is that you say? A meal ticket is $1 million. Cash-ola, payola, moolah, right? So we're on this mission for moolah to get to that meal ticket. And he is one of these guys. I think they've given him a big vote of confidence in that they haven't went out and signed anybody, right? Everybody's speculating. Will they get Diggs? Will they get Keenan Allen? Well, they haven't gotten anybody yet. And so I'm not so sure that they believe that they need to. The coaches have expressed confidence in this wide receiver room. They got a young guy, Trey Harris. They got Ladd McConkey, and they got Quentin Johnston, who they are pumping up. So the Chargers could be very explosive and have a lot of big plays. And one of the best big play guys they have is Quentin Johnston. And you can see he's starting to rise up the board a little bit as far as ADP. And so that's not a great thing, but it's one of those things that is what it is at this point. Fanspeak Network, thanks for joining in. Hey, how you doing, Meg? All right, appreciate you each and every time that you come by. Say hello. Go ahead and jump in the draft with us if you like. It's okay. The water's warm. The water's warm. I won't get scatterable, promise. All right, so I think the Chargers are one of those teams that everybody's kind of high on in some form or fashion, but it's also one of those things where you got to beware of the cost that you're going to pay, because it's going to be pretty costly to get their top weapons. And for me, I think the guy of value has been Quentin Johnston so far, but his price is starting to rise. Herbert has stayed pretty steady, and Lad McConkey has stayed rather steady. So everybody's kind of stayed steady, except our guy Quentin is starting to rise here. So that's the only thing that I will want to be on the lookout for, is how far he's going to rise here in this BBM contest, because I can maybe look at some of my earlier drafts. I'm not sure where he was going, but I do want to figure that out myself. So we're going to do this on the fly. We're going to figure out kind of where was he going in the beginning of BBM. So I'm going to look at my earliest BBM. Let's go ahead and put this on the screen here and kind of see where he's going before we jump into this draft. We want to just check that out. We want to see our earliest BBM. No, not that. We want to share another screen, this screen. Share this tab instead. There we go. All right, so we want to go ahead and check out Quentin Johnson. Where did he start? And so we're going to look at our earliest BBM just to give us an indication of where he was going about that time. I don't want to really guess. I want to have at least some frame of reference here. And so BBM, we've got 13 BBMs thus far. So we'll go back to our first BBM. It was part of a stream. I labeled it. It was part of a stream. Let's look at the full draft here in our first BBM. Full draft. We want to see where our guy Quentin Johnson went. So if we look at this draft board, we will see that a guy Quentin Johnson, oh, he went in the 9th. Nah, he was going later than that, wasn't he? Well, we got him in the, somebody got him in the 9th round in this draft on the 9th turn. And okay, 97s. So he was at least 97 or greater. I know he was in the hundreds at some point. Right? Wasn't he? But my earliest BBM, let's look at this next earliest BBM. And I promise you I'll get to the draft right after this. I just wanted to check this out. In fact, I don't know, should I join right now? Because sometimes you got to join right away because it won't feel right away. Let's go ahead and join the BBM right now. I'm going to give you a countdown for anybody who wants to get in. So we're going to go join a BBM in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're entering right now. All right. Oh, it filled up. Snap fill. All right. So we're still going to go check that out. We got the 7th pick. I keep getting right around there every time. Okay. So let's continue to look. Let's look at our second BBM. Our second BBM was early May. That was a slow too. Wow. Let's try to see what that one looks like. It was early May and it was slow. So early May is awful early, right? And we want to see where Quentin Johnston went. Quentin Johnston in early May. He went. Where is he? Huh? Quentin Johnson? I don't. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, right around 106. I knew it was kind of going right around there. So 106, his current ADP is current ADP is 81. So he's going at 106 in some drafts, 100 to 106, right around there. And now he's coming in at 81. So he has been a big riser in these streets. I'm one pick away. We came in right on time. We'll catch up on the draft here in just a second. Okay. Do we want to take a receiver here? We're going to pull this guy up. Yes, we are going to do it. Justin Jefferson, pulling him up. All right. Let's get to the board. We're going to show you a full board here. Let's go ahead and share this one. All right. So we got Justin Jefferson at 106 or 7. And let's see, is there anybody in here that we recognize? Did Lawsimo? Lawsimo's in at the 2 spot. We got Bijan, right? We got, let's see who else. Anybody else we recognize in here? Not really. but that's fine. We got somebody named Easy Money 04. Okay. He was born in 2004. Yep, you Easy Money. Yeah, a little young whippersnapper. You coming in here with grizzled, aged, great white sharks. Yeah. So you might be easy money in this kind of a room if you was born in 2004. That means you're like 22 years old. Maybe that was the year you graduated. I'm going to give you a little credit. But if you was born in 2004, yeah, I've been playing fantasy about twice your age. Been playing fantasy for 40 years if you was born in 2004. But it's all good. We welcome anybody and everybody. Come on, man. Young and old, blind in the seeing, crippled and the sprinters, blind, crippled, and crazy, as they say. I like them blind, crippled, and crazy. It's an old quote of how somebody like this women. It's like, you like a blind, crippled, and crazy. Okay. All right. We're going with Big Dog as the number 2 pick. Yep. Big Dog and Justin Jefferson, which is a combo that you can get on the other side. I know you can get that combo there, but we're taking it right down the middle, which could hopefully give us a few different other combinations that, may be somewhat unique or just a little less owned, hopefully. We'll see how that shakes out. We're not going to try to go off the reservation to be unique, but we are going to try to do a little bit of something. But our guy, Quentin Johnson, who we have identified as a potential millionaire maker type of a play, but his ADP is rising. That's usually a dilemma that we should consider if it's worth our while to chase him up the board. Because if you're taking them in the 7th round when guys were getting them in the 9th round, it's not devastating per se, but it's not going to give you an advantage either. So that's just one way to look at it. So maybe I'm looking at it just to get them in stacks maybe right now at this price. If I can get them in a stack, fine. But if as a solo one-off pick, not sure if I want to pay that kind of an ADP on a guy that's risen that far up the board. So I will be cautious on making my Quentin Johnson picks here on out in the BBM, which we are drafting right now. This is a BBM, and we plan to do one more draft after this. Come on in. Take your shoes off. Join us for midnight Mondays as we are here to draft a BBM, and we will draft a poodle after this. Yes. Hold on as I take a quick water break. All right, we're back. All right, we're coming on the clock here. Let's see, we are up in the middle of the 3rd. Are we going to do this? Man, there's so many guys who have risen that are right here. We're going Ravens Havens, man. Ravens Haven. We got a Ravens Haven. That's what I'm going to call it. The Ravens Haven Big Dog. Zay Flowers. And, yeah. But a guy like Quentin Johnson, I don't think I'm going to take him as a one-off. I think I will look to get him in just stacks because that rising price is starting to concern me about how I'm going to stack up versus the teams that have already been drafted that have them like in a 9th round price. And if I'm taking them as a one-off, as in a 7th round, I'm not thrilled about that exchange, that trade-off. So that's just my thinking on that. It's not right or wrong. It's just my thinking. But there will be times where you do have to take guys who have risen up the board because they're just in such a favorable situation. And so certain guys are going to rise and you just can't deny it. You just got to be like, hey, sometimes you got to swallow that pill and just be like, well, I didn't get enough of him when he was at a certain value. But a guy like Quentin Johnson, is he that type of a player? Don't know by himself if he is, but in stacks possibly. If you got that winning stack that just goes off and you paid a price, an increased price, that's okay. But as a one-off, just doesn't make sense as much to me. All right, let's see what we're going to do here in this fourth round. As you are with Young Moolah here at GAB Sports, drafting a BBM on midnight Mondays. And we are going to go ahead and jump in another draft after this. So we'll probably won't do any kind of a review. I don't want to do a review on this. So we're going to just jump into another draft back to back. And if you stick with me, maybe I'll review the Poodle draft. But I'm not going to review this one here. No, they didn't. Okay, I was going to say, they didn't take Lamar, did they? Should I try to push Lamar? No, I'm not going to, since Lawsimo is in here. Since Lawsimo is in our draft, I think you like Lamar. I think I figured that out. But I'm just committed to the stack, so I'm going to pay the price on Lamar because we're not worried about that trade-off. Fourth to fifth round is all pretty equal. So to me, the guy I take in the fifth is a fourth rounder. The guy I take in the fourth is a fifth rounder. It's all the same bucket to me right here. That's why I'm okay. Just committing to the bid, as they say. And the bid here is the Ravens Haven here in the BBM. We got Lamar, Big Dog, Zay Flowers, Justin Jefferson start. And let's see what we want to do in the fifth. There's a couple guys we like here in the fifth. Our guy Lawsimo is coming in at the second spot. He's got a 0-2-2 start. Bijan Scatterbo with Nico Rasheed Rice. All right. Young Moolah in the 7 hole. We got a 1-1-2. We got Lamar, Big Dog, Zay Flowers, the Ravens Haven trio, and then we supplement it with Justin Jefferson. And so we are into the fifth round with the 1-1-2 start. Yeah, I think the BBM is going to be exciting this year. It's always exciting, but in that we're at that time of the year where June, where there's a dead period on information, right? And we all know, those who have been around this game for a little bit, that once the training camp start, that's when all the buzz comes out. All the people just come from under the rocks, out the woodworks, out their mom's garage. They just come from everywhere to join the BBM, right? The marketing frenzy picks up, and I'm hoping that Underdog is going to offer some kind of deposit match bonuses and things like that coming up soon, right? Are you guys going to do that? Because I would certainly appreciate that. Because there's guys out here who are working hard and doing, supporting y'all, and y'all not rewarding us. Don't reward all the fishes coming in late. The Johnny come late, at least reward the dudes who've been in here too with a little deposit match. Because many of us will need to deposit a little bit more money in here. That's just part of what we do. And because we've been spending our funds all off season. So go ahead and Underdog, get that deposit match, 50%, something. Just reward the people who've been out here touting you guys and drafting and all these contests, filling up these contests. Reward the dudes out here busting their butt doing that. Just something that I'm going to throw out there. Hopefully everybody else picks this up too and tells them. Because the more people that talk about it, the more that they're going to act, right? So let's get on Underdog about that. Put the matches out there. Don't just wait till July when all the fishes jump in and you want to give them all the greatest bonus action in the world, but you don't want to reward the people who've been down since day one. Reward us too. That's just my little rant for today. All right, back to the draft. We got a 1-2-2 through 5 rounds. We got Lamar Jackson with our Ravens Havens, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and we got Bashal Tootin and Justin Jefferson. Just Jettas looking rather special out there already on the field. I saw some highlights recently, and this guy is looking pretty damn sharp out there already. So look for a bounce back here from Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I don't think he's got nowhere to go but up from last year, right? How high will he bounce back? We don't know, but he will bounce back to some degree. All right. Is he going to let me get this pick too? Yes, they are. We are loving this start here in the Best Ball Mania. Another one of the guys we are high on. And I believe that he's going to be just fine, right? It's a lot of innuendo and speculation about, oh, well, he's not that good. He was really a 32nd pick and all this. He's not as good as Jeremiah Love. So what? I don't care if he's not as good as Jeremiah Love. You don't have to be good as Jeremiah Love to perform at a high level in the NFL. He's going to a great team that just won the championship. He's got a good offensive line. Yeah, they got a new offensive coordinator, new scheme or whatever. The scheme will be pretty similar. They wouldn't have drafted this guy without a big plan in the first round. So Jadarian Price, whose profile I love. I'm not worried about that he didn't get the full load in college. That's a bonus that he didn't get worn down in college. I'm going by the skill set. He's got great vision, great contact balance, runs through arm tackles, and he will be bigger than 203 once the season starts. Jadarian Price is going to light it up this year. Yeah, that's the side we're on. So we're taking that bet every day of the week, especially at the falling price now. We are all in on that. No doubt about it. All right, so now we got coming in the 7th round with the 1-3-2 build so far. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where people can get dissuaded by all the noise that's coming through, but just look at, they drafted the guy in the first round. They let Kenneth Walker walk. So you're going to draft a guy in the first round after you let a guy walk who was the MVP of the Super Bowl, and you're not going to have a big role carved out for this guy? You tell me that makes any kind of sense? No, doesn't make any kind of sense. So they're going to have a big role carved out for this guy. So at the price of a 6th rounder in these kind of contests, sign me up. Yeah, sign me up. As you come on in, go ahead, take the time, hit the like button if you will, please. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So we have a subscriber goal that we are trying to reach by the beginning of the season. Yeah, if we reach our subscriber goal of 300 by week 1, and we're now over 100, so if we reach that subscriber goal, we will go ahead and release our picks for DFS week 1, as well as our NFL picks week 1. We will release those picks for free. So subscribe today so we can go ahead and get that out to you all. And yeah, it's getting more and more excited. But we are going to continue our journey through the best ball streets throughout the entire summer. So we're coming at you 4 times a week with shows each Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each with a slightly different format for the show. And so we're looking to go ahead and keep on plugging, keep on striving as we do, as we're building a complete sports channel here at GAB Sports. And we can only do it with your support. We appreciate each and every one of you that steps in through here and checks us out. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media at GAB for Young. That's GAB, the number 4, YUUNG. So you can get all your alerts for in our videos. You can get all the information that we have. So feel free to also leave a comment, right? So come draft with us tonight on midnight Mondays. Let's go ahead and move the board down a little bit so we can see it a little better. All right. So we are on the clock here in the 8th round, not the 6th. 8th round. Do we want another back? Yeah, we'll go ahead and take this guy. We'll take another back right here. Go with Rico Dowdell. Yeah, let's go ahead and take him. So we got a 1-4-3 and looking pretty good in that backfield. So I think we can slow down on that backfield for a little bit. That's probably going to be our approach from this point forward. Feeling pretty secure with those 4. And so let's go ahead and look at some of our other positions. We're ready to stack the queue. Hopefully we can get some fallers, but if not, that's all right. We'll pull somebody up if we need to that we really like. We're not averse to doing that. Pulling guys up, yeah, I'll pull you up by your bootstraps and join the Young Moolah Express. We don't have a problem. Come on in, we'll treat you like family. Just get us some touchdowns, right? Get us some yards. Yeah, as long as you perform, we treat you right. You don't perform, we'll throw your ass out feet first. So go ahead and come in. Join us for another draft here after this one. If you didn't get this one, just come in, share some stories. Go ahead and put some comments in here in the chat. Interact with your boy. I'm willing to go ahead, answer any questions you might have. Well, not any questions, just anything that related to the sports environment. And so, yeah, let's do this, Brutus. As we are heading into the 9th round here. And again, I don't recognize too many names in there other than Lawson, which is a good thing. That's why I like coming on these late drafts sometimes. Sometimes you get in a room where people don't know you, you don't know them, and hey, man, you can draft your game, right? Without having to try to, do some exotic stuff. You can just draft comfortably without having to say, well, I know this dude is going to do this, do that. Well, I'm just going to do what I do. And we're going to do this right here. We're pulling this guy up. We're going with Kyle Pitts. Yeah, we never leave a draft season of best ball without having our fair share of Kyle Pitts. Yeah, you can say all you want about him. Yeah, he's been an underperformer throughout his whole career or this or that. Yeah, but he can explode for the big games. And last year was indicative of that, and he showed you in week 15. It came at the right moment, the right time. Everybody was hating. But, yeah, I get him every year. So I'm going to get him this year as well. Kyle Pitts. Welcome to the Young Moolah Express. Yeah, we'll take you guys like that. Because in best ball, I'm not looking for you to just knock it out the park every year, every game, whatever, that consistent chugger kind of dude. Yeah, he's consistent. He gives you 11 points every week. Okay, that's not going to win you shit in this game. Okay, we're looking for explosive 35, 40-point weeks at the right time. And all I need to do is be right 1 year. 1 year, everything comes together with the strategy, and this is the year. Okay, so it's the year every year. You got to be thinking that. Every year is going to be the year until it isn't, right? Or until it is. So that's how we think, that every trigger we pull, it's got to come through. And so we're taking it with a purpose here. We want explosive guys who can break the slate and break the slate in weeks 15, 16, or 17 for us. And that will keep us going through. And then somebody come through week 17 and break the slate. That's what we're looking for. You got to get those slate breakers late in the season. And so we got Big Dog. Guess what he did week 17? 45 points. We got Lamar, who can do it any game. We got Basho Tootin, who can do it this year. So we are looking for dudes who can explode and give us the winning numbers. All right, we're going with this guy. I said I wasn't going to take another back. I lied. We got to get this dude at this price. Rachaad White looks like a starting running back for your Washington Commanders. So we'll take him as our 5th starting running back. Well, Jadarian Price is a starter for at least until Charbonnet comes back, if he comes back. Rico Dowdle probably will split, but he may take it over. You never know. He might get the bigger share. At least he's got a big role. And Rachaad White, I'm presuming he will be the starter, at least to start the season. Hopefully he can hold on to it. If not, well, he just didn't hold on to it. But we'll see. He'll be given every opportunity. He's best friends with the quarterback. That usually goes a long way, to giving you at least an opportunity. Now you just got to capitalize on that opportunity. Let's see if he can do it. Or do we take Mark Andrews here? or do we slide in something different? I would say, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. You've been looking at YUUNGMOOLAHH. Dopery. Dopery 420. Oh, yeah, he high. So, yeah, you took likely at 121 because you knew I was going to take him. He wasn't coming back to you. So you took him on the corner. Good for you. But he jumped hella high. You better jump if you want certain dudes because they will not get by me. But let's see. Do we want to go with Mark Andrews and really go all in on the Ravens? Or will we do something else? I think we're going to do something else. Don't think I want to do that. We're going to go with this guy right here. Jalen Coker. We got a good feeling about him as how he ended, as to the way he ended last year. He had that big playoff game against the Rams, and he was hurt most of the season. But I can tell just by that moment in a big playoff game, and he came through, that gave this coaching staff and this organization a lot of confidence in a guy who delivers like that. So these are some of the nuances that I put into my game that numbers alone ain't going to just tell you about. And so, because everybody can look at numbers, can you understand the nuances and know how people act and, interact in locker rooms, how people fit schemes, and knowing how a dude finishes a season in a big game, you get a lot of points with your teammates from something like that. This guy had a huge game. Jalen Coker, he kept him in that game, right? And so you earn a lot of respect with your teammates and your coaches when you come up in the clutch like that. And so I just know they're going to have a big role for this dude. He's going to start. Leggett got a lot to prove, and so he's probably, one drop pass away from being benched, probably Leggett. So, but Coker, they love this guy. He was just started off hurt last year. So I look at this guy to have a big role this year. And we rolling with our boy, Cokehead. The Cokehead right there. Yeah. We're going to roll with him. All right. We need another receiver. We'll add this guy, Rashid Shaheed. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. What's going on? How many years have you been drafting on Underdog? Since BBM 2. But before that, because I believe Underdog was draft. And I played draft 1 year. That was before Underdog was even around. So I think Underdog took over from draft. If you remember draft. So I've been since BBM 2. I've been drafting on the Underdog, but I've been playing DFS and best ball on, I think DraftKings started theirs after they did. So however long DraftKings been doing theirs, I've been doing theirs too. But draft was the first big contest that I remember online, and that was before Underdog or DraftKings, site called Draft. And I do believe they became Underdog, or Underdog bought them or something like that and rebranded. I mean, that's the story I was told. But they were before Underdog. But I remember Draft, and I was on there a couple years. And then Underdog, I didn't do BBM 1, but I did BBM 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7. Had mixed results. You ain't going to really win big except maybe one time. So I broke even a couple times, lost a couple times, and came profitable one time. So that's the nature of best ball. When you're shooting for the top 0.001 or 0.005% outcomes, the top 10 places, you're going to brick a lot in this game. Now, if you're just trying to advance, you're looking for advance rates of 40 to 50%. So you're going to draft as safe as possible, and all your teams are going to kind of look alike. Okay, if that's your goal, that's your goal. It ain't my goal. I'm shooting for the top 0.001%. 0.005% outcomes. And to do that, you got to take a little risk. You got to be a little contrarian. You got to do things a little bit differently. And that's how we approach stuff. Wow, I didn't really want Strange, but that's okay. We'll take him. He does fit a need. We didn't need a tight end. I was trying to get in another pick at the last second. Underdog, they got that. Your clock ain't really your clock a lot of times. It'll say like 2-3 seconds, but that's really the end of your clock. But that's all right. We'll see what happens in the next pick. But yeah, I've been around since BBM 2 on Underdog. And yeah. Pitts made up for it in one game. All the money. Yeah, Pitts got me through a few my teams. One of them made the finals with Pitts. Yeah, so Pitts was a must-have pretty much week 15. You didn't have Pitts, boy. People was moaning and groaning. Yeah, high variance. Yeah, no doubt. So it's one of those things where I'm more selective and judicious with my contest selection. So I don't even do a whole lot of BBMs. I did 2 years ago, BBM 5. I did 97 BBMs. That's the most I've ever done. I had like a 30-something% advance rate. By week 15, I was home with almost 99% of those. I think I got one team through. So it don't really matter how many you do. It's the quality that you do. That's how I'm looking at it. Because last year, I had only like 30-something BBMs, right? And they got further than the ones before, right? I didn't make a final, but I got at least a week 16 with one of my teams. But it's just one of those things where you got to look for the different contests, and I'm looking for structures that usually have the better advance rates and the smaller maybe finals, because our goal is to win something this year, man. We're trying to take something down. So I'm real judicious about the contest selection. And so we're going to go ahead and focus on that more than anything. All right, we got 6 packs. I think we're going to stop right there. Let's see what our quarterback room needs to look like. Who are we looking at as the backup quarterback? Because we're going to need one now. We need a backup quarterback. Who we go with that guy? But yeah, it's one of those things to me. BBM, a lot of people just want to max it and say that it increases their chances. It increases your chances if you have a real rock solid strategy. It'll increase your chances by the most infinitesimal odds. It'll increase your chances, but it's not dramatically increasing your chances just because you max out. So that's just me. My strategy is I'll put in about 25, 30 BBMs this year, but I'm attacking other contests with a fervor. So I kind of like a lot of these. Like this poodle. Shoot, I love the poodle structure. I mean, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, you're talking my language now. We can get to the finals, right? A final of like 300 people. Hey, man, you can beat 300 people. That's within reason, right? It's not like you got to beat 1,000 and something. I mean, what's everybody's going over to DRAFTKINGS, and that's fine. They got the big prizes. And so it's looking like you got the 3 million, 1 million, and 2 million, right? But their final is fucking humongous. Something like twice the size of the BBM is the final of the DraftKings final. So good luck with that damn lottery odds. I mean, that's like Powerball lottery odds, which, somebody's going to win it, but not going to waste a lot of resources. Well, I shouldn't say waste. Not going to spend a lot of resources chasing that one. So, couple bullets in that is all I'm going to do, if that. And I like the variety of contests that you get here on Underdog, so you can pick and choose which ones you kind of really like, and make some money, right? And, if I don't win $1 million, I'm not gonna be upset. If I win 100,000, why am I gonna be upset? If you win $250,000, 100,000, 75,000, I'll be happy because I didn't spend that much. So as long as you can win something that makes it worthwhile, plus you got some skin in the game, it's a lot of it is just the enjoyment, right, of drafting, right? We like to draft. And the thing that I really don't like is managing my teams anymore. You know, I did all the dynasty stuff before dynasty was even popular. I did all the redrafts for years and years. I don't like managing teams. I don't like guessing who do I need to start this week or that week. I rather just play DFS if I'm going to do that, because each week becomes a new contest, right? I can go get a whole new roster this week in my DFS lineups. I don't have to worry about starting this guy, starting that guy, and then they get you to 0 because you made the wrong dude start. Forget that stuff, man. I'm not worried about doing all that. I just want to draft, forget about it. Let me draft and forget about it. You go ahead and calculate the points. But just a little bit about my first exposure to best ball was back in like 2005, 6, somewhere around there, over on MFL, my fantasy league. This one guy had these contests called Draft Masters. I mean, those contests was crazy to where you could you just drafted the team, because everybody was playing dynasty and redraft leagues and all that over there. But on Draft Masters, you just draft a team and it calculated the points for you. You didn't have to set a lineup. That was like a novel concept. There was no big national contest holding leagues like that. So this was just a single league, though, of 12 people draft, and you never had to set a line. So you just won that league. You didn't win like a big prize in advance and all that. So it was, that was just my first exposure to, hey, you just draft a team, draft it, and forget about it. Okay, I'm with that. So that was my first exposure. This is like 20 years ago. But now they got the big national contest where you advance in this tournament format here. And that's cool, because now you can win the big prize. But it's a lot more crapshootish, right? Because beating just 12 people like these leagues, you can do that, right? You can figure out how to beat a 12-team league. But to beat 150 to 250,000 entries, beating fields that large, takes a little bit more wily guile type stuff where you got to have some strategy about yourself. It ain't just about drafting anymore, right? Because everybody can draft nowadays. There's so many tools and videos and touts and information out there and analytics. And anybody can draft. So what's the real edge? It's not your draft. It's got to be something else. All right, we'll take this guy, because we do need an alternate QB. Since we got 13 weeks, we'll take this guy. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 receivers. We need one more receiver out of this room. So we'll go ahead and pick one of our favorite darts. Excuse me. Because these late receivers, I mean, come on. We're going to bust most of these dudes. Right? Most of these dudes are going to bust. So you just pick one of these darts. Hopefully it pays off in one way or another for maybe 1 week, right? You get a guy, gives you one good week out of an 18th round. That might be good enough. Remember that year when Jennings got like 40-something points? I don't think he did nothing the whole other year. Rest of the year, he got like 40-something points that one game, though. So sometimes these late round picks give me one good week. That might be enough to get me through, right? So we're looking for something like that out of our last pick here. So we got 1 click left. Let's see our guy Losimo. Since we're not going to do a review, I'm just going to go and give you a quick rundown. Guy Losimo out of the 2 holes. Got a 3.563. So it's 3 quarterbacks: Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, Fernando Mendoza. Then he got Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Jalen Waddle, Casey Concepcion, Khalil Shakir, Jeremy Bernard, and he's got his last click coming up. And his running backs, 5 running backs: Bijan, Scatterbo, Pollard, Woody Marks, Ray Davis. Really sound to you. Wouldn't expect nothing less. All right, we're going to go ahead and tack on Devontae Walker as our last pick for our Ravens Haven stack. So we got Lamar +4. Did we get +4 or +3? Oh, we got +3. Lamar +3. Big Dog. Flowers. Devontae Walker. All right. So we got a 3, 6, 7, 2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into another draft right out the gate, man. We aren't wasting no time since we're here a little past midnight on the East Coast. So we're going to go ahead and ramp it up and put on a little background music before we jump into this last draft. So let's go ahead and do that. As you come on in, please go ahead and take the time, smash the like button, subscribe to our channel here at GAB Sports. We certainly appreciate that. And we are going to jump into another draft right here, right now. How many likes we got? All right, people, let's get it cracking, man. Let's get it going here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get some likes in here, please. Smash that like button. Okay. We're going to go ahead and jump into a poodle right now. The poodle is one of my favorite contests so far. Actually, I will go ahead and state that without hesitation. The poodle is one of these contests where let's look at the structure of this contest, and you will see why. This is one of the best contests around, right? It's a 20 entry max, 40K to first, $7 entry. And so we got here is a 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, 310 seed final. And so if you max this contest out, which is $140, if you make the final, which is 310, right? 310 make final, you're getting 300 back. So you're already doubling your money plus a little bit, right? Just for making the finals, you know, coming in like 201st to 310th place. So with those kinds of payouts, you kind of like that. And the fact that it's the 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5 postseason, that's what's really good because, you know, BBM, look what you're looking at here, right? Yeah, we all love the BBM, no doubt about it, because you can become a millionaire right away, right? 2 million at first. But look what you got to go through. 2 out of 12, 1 out of 14, 1 out of 12, and it's a 667 seat final. All right, we'll put a couple of bullets in there. We'll take our chances. Like our chances as good as anybody, right? But again, the odds are so small, but it's possible, right? That's how we got to look at it. You mean I got a chance? That's what you're looking at. You got a chance. So we're going to go ahead and put a few bullets in this one, but we ain't going to go overboard. But yeah, let's go ahead and put on some side music here and go ahead and jump into BBM. I mean, not BBM, Twitter. Right? Get a little scratchy here, so keep talking for a minute. But yeah, the poodle is the best in the lobby right now. I agree, man. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. And so that's why we're going to jump into that right now. Let's go ahead and change. Share this tab. All right. So we're going to jump into a poodle in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're entering the poodle right now. Oh, wow. Another fill. Let's see. Maybe we jumped into an adjacent stream or something. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. We got Baltimore in the 8th hole. Let's see who else is in here that we might recognize. I think I've seen the name Dank9 before. If anybody else is in here, other than our guy Losmo, go ahead and raise your hand. And thank you for joining us. It's okay. You don't have to hide. But it's all right. We're just going to do our thing. We kind of swap places. I was in the 7th slot. You got the 8th slot, and you were in the 2 slot. So now we swapped. And the first picks are kind of cookie cutter, right? I'm taking Gibbs or Bijan just like you would have. Yeah. And so that's why sometimes drafting out of the middle, I like it because you can get a little different. And so I just went with a little bit of a different strategy. Just wanted to stack the Ravens in the BBM. Just bank on the offense, man. That's what I'll sometimes do. You just ride an offense, see how it works out, right? The Ravens explode, I got a good chance. If they tank, people get hurt, nah, that team's dead. We'll see what happens. We'll take our chances. All right, let's go with Bijan as well. Bijan or Gibbs? Do you have Bijan or Gibbs? I think I'm more slightly Gibbs, but it's so close. You're splitting hairs that you're not mad if you get either one. But if I had push come to shove, probably take Gibbs. Just off what's the tiebreaker for me is that he's just scored so many touchdowns over the past few years, and that is a repeatable thing for him. It's not like a fluke year where he has 15 one year and then 9 the next year. This dude who scores like 14, 15, 18, like 3 years in a row. So I think that's the slight tiebreaker. Although I'm not gonna, you got Gibbs too. I'm not gonna say Bijan can't do that. He can do that. It's just that one of those things that, he hasn't done it. So that's what it all comes down to. But yeah, we want $1 million. We want that meal ticket. And I think if we're going to go ahead and do something big this year in one of these contests, I got a feeling. Sometimes you can feel something is about to happen. Something's going to happen in one of these contests. I don't know where, don't know how. Could be pre-draft. I feel good about my pre-draft bags. Looking at them from this perspective, now everything's over. So maybe it's there. Who knows? Maybe it's postseason. I've done well in a couple postseasons. Or, what I really like are those, what do they call them? First quarters or something? Second quarters or something? Is that what the name of it is? Where they got those 4-week contests. Yeah, those contests are pretty interesting too. I like that little twist that they added for those. Where you just draft for those like 4-week segments. And, I think I figured something out on how to approach those last year. So I hope they bring those back as well. That was something new last year that they hadn't done before. So hopefully they got something like that. Underdog is pretty creative. And I think they try. They're not bashful about trying stuff out. And that kind of hit the mark. I think that was a hit. So hopefully they come back with that one. Quarters, I think. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, whatever they call them. Those were good. Okay, let's see what this draft is looking like. Our guy Lost Mode starts off with the 2 receivers. Amon-Ra, Drake London. Dank 9 out of the 12 hole. Saquon James Cook. Shinty Hampton. I think I got a few of those. Think again. Okay, we got 3 non-badges surrounding me. Does that change my thinking? Not at this point. Early in the draft, things tend to go according to script. But at some point, I think I could try to slide some stuff by some people when I see they don't have a lot of experience. So we'll see what we can do there. All right. I got a guy in mind that I would like here. Let's see if he makes it to me. All right, let's see what we can do. Yep, we're taking this guy right here. Nico Collins. I wonder if he can get to double-digit touchdowns because he's yet to have a double-digit touchdown season. That's Nico Collins. If he can break that, track that, I think he'll be well on his way to reaching his ceiling because he's never really done it. I think he can do it. He's capable of doing it. He just hasn't. But I wouldn't rule it out, right? We want to share Pickens. We haven't been getting much of him. We're going to bet that he flies straight. And we're going to bet that he's still going to have the motivation to play for that bag. Because I think if they give him the bag before the season, that's going to just deflate a lot of his motivation. I'm a guy who thinks that sometimes people need incentive, and I'm not thrilled for the guy that he didn't get paid coming off that such a big season, because I think he did earn the deal. But if they continue to dangle that carrot in front of him, maybe that gives him that extra motivation for one more time to just go back to back and just really like put on a big show, because this guy's awful talented. If he's locked in and focused, Pickens is as good as most receivers in the league, man. This guy is very talented, competitive. He's got a lot of skills. He can run after the catch, can catch contested balls. So if he's got a little motivation like he did last year, he can do it again. And it's not a big difference between him and CeeDee Lamb. Everybody's taking CeeDee Lamb in the first round. This guy is late second, early third. Or, it's like they're really pretty close in ability, and don't be surprised if their numbers are close in the end. So that disparity in ADP may be closer than we think, or it should be closer. All right, so let's see. Our guy Dank 9 on the corner takes T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson. While we are in a 0-1-2 start out of the 2-hole. 0-1-2. All right, so this is our second draft. We're doing a poodle. Yeah, this is a poodle. So this is maybe our fourth poodle. Yeah, and so it's a 20 max. So hopefully it doesn't feel too fast. I kind of want to draft these in a measured pace. I like to get a few of these on my stream, so I don't want to just turn around by Wednesday and it's like 75% filled up. But it's going at a pretty measured pace so far. So we'll see if it picks up or not. Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, I'll still make sure I get mine in one way or another. I haven't been doing any slows. I did maybe 2 slows all off season. My second BBM was a slow. And I did maybe one other puppy slow or something. But I haven't done many slows. And I normally do some slows, but I think the time to do slows, we might have one more window to do some slows. To me, I think it's that right before training camp where you get a slow started. And then as the news starts to break, you can be on the clock maybe in the 4th, 5th round, where there's certain guys who could have a propensity to go down in ADP or up in ADP. And so if you're on the clock in those kind of key moments, right, I think it can benefit you in a lot of ways. We're going to take a JMO share. I haven't been getting much of this guy. So I do want to get a share of JMO. We like JMO. We think he's a very talented guy. And so we want some shares of those kinds of profiles. And so I will get a share of JMO right there. And we passed on this guy, but we passed on him thinking he would be gone when our next pick came about. But he is not. He's available. We will take him. Colston Loveland. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take him right there at 50. So I kind of wanted that combination of players, JMO and Loveland, but I said, let me do JMO. If I don't get Loveland, it's okay. But I got them both. And that's kind of what I wanted to do right there. Glad it worked out. So let me figure out something with these guys on the corner and see if this is where I can kind of get some value. How's this guy drafting? 2-2-1. Okay. I think I can predict maybe where he's going with his next pick. Yeah, I think I know where he might be going. Yeah, that's something that picking an 11th hole or the 2-hole, a lot of times you got to try to figure that guy out on the corner, right? That's next to you because you got 2 picks. Got to see what's going to happen on that corner, see how you can, kind of manipulate things your way. That's the little edges you sometimes got to figure out. because there's not a lot of edges you have in this game. The smallest of ones are the ones that can help you. And that's a small kind of edge you got to be seeking. What can I get around this guy on the corner that helps me? I didn't think I would get but if I'd have looked, I'd have saw that he had McBride. So most guys aren't going to take 2 tight ends. But I hadn't even looked at that yet. I hadn't started studying, but now I'm studying this guy on the corner. And so that's why I did the right thing inadvertently. I wasn't even trying to. But those are the types of things I normally look out for. Is that, okay, this guy had McBride, so he probably won't take this Loveland. So you take the guy you want in front of him. Yeah, worked out. I didn't even look at it, but it worked out. That's normally what I would look at. So let's get locked back in because I don't want to miss something like that again. Because now it's getting the points where those things become more critical. This point in the draft where one mistake can lose some value. The roster can kind of just lose a little value if you make a mistake here in these middle rounds, like 7th, 8th, 9th rounds. Sometimes your team can go off schedule, off the rails, and get uncorrelated, get all kind of out of whack if you aren't paying attention through here. And so, I thought this guy wanted Hurts too on the corner since he pulled up Devonta Smith. But we'll see. Maybe he didn't really want Hurts. Let's see what we want to do. Because we're coming up. We don't have a quarterback either. Do we want to take one right here? I think we do. But we're not going to. We're going to take Pollard instead. I think the second back is worth a little more than the quarterback here. Because the backs are kind of running a bit thin on who I really like. Ramondre even went in the 7th round. So, backs are getting thin. Ramondre's going in the 6th round. So, yeah. So, I'm taking Pollard right there. I still think I can get the quarterback that I want. Let's see if it works out. It should. And it does. Yep, we'll go ahead and take Loveland to give us that skinny stack. We'll take Caleb, skinny stack with Loveland, and then we also got the correlation with Jameson Williams. See how that kind of worked out. Wasn't by accident. And I wanted Pollard because the backs are drying up. Let me see. Is somebody really hogging backs? Let me look at this. Let me look at this. Is anybody hogging backs, or is it just the way it is? Well, our guy in the 3 hole has 4 backs. 3 backs out of the 5 hole. 3 backs, our guy lost some more. Nobody's really hogging backs, just the way it is. He pulled up a Ramondre, which is perfectly fine. Because I think I got Pollard ahead of Ramondre in my rank, so I don't think I would have taken Ramondre in my selection. But I did need a back, so I'm glad the guy that I wanted was still available out of the remaining guys. So our guy in a 5-0 Putt Daddy, it's looking like he has a Jacksonville stack. Drake May got pulled up. Why? I don't understand, but he did. Some people are quarterback hungry, and they want 2 quarterbacks through this window here, and it's fine. But I'm not really seeking to do that a lot. To have to get 2 quarterbacks in this very loaded region, basically the 6th round through the eighth round is loaded with a lot of quarterbacks. I don't necessarily have to have two of them out of there. I will on occasion maybe get two before the eighth round, but I know some people that just do it kind of too much. It's like your builds are going to get a little too predictable and a little too similar when you just have to do a certain thing. Like, hey, I got to get my third running back by the eighth round. I got to get my third receiver by the fifth round. All those hard and fast rules are going to keep you in a box, in my opinion. And so sometimes you have to have a feel for just the draft and how it's going. And hey, man, sometimes you might get your third back by the 12th round or 11th round, and, if you got a good anchor like this anchor I got here, Bijan, shit, he can carry me the whole season. And then the other dudes just need to fill in every once in a while. So sometimes your build dictates a different story of what your mind might be telling you. Oh, mind telling you, I got to get this, I got to get that by this certain round. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We can rock with this dude. We're up in 2 picks, so let's go ahead and see what we want to do. I don't like those guys that are left here. Not at all. Am I going to have to pull somebody up? I really don't want to. Damn. Did he go already? Wow. Yeah, a lot of guys are getting picked quick. Where did Worthy go? 8th round. Okay. All right. A little early. A little bit early. But go ahead, man. Go ahead with your bad self. Do we want to do this? Yeah. I think we're okay doing this. I'm going to take this guy a little early, but wanted another receiver. Get some correlation in that. NFC North. Yeah, we'll take that one. Pull him up a little bit early. Our guy Golden, who we're very high on this year. Want a piece of that Packers passing game here. And so we got a 1, 3, 4, 1 through 9 rounds here on Midnight Mondays. It's your guy, YUUNGMOOLAHH. Thanks for joining us. Come on in. Have a ball with us and draft a couple of drafts here on the Late Night Creep. All right. Also wanted to showcase our schedule. So our schedule of shows, we got 4 different shows throughout the week. So we're coming at you on Mondays here, Midnight Mondays at 11:45 p.m. Eastern, 8:45 p.m. Pacific. On Wednesdays, we got Machiavellian Thoughts, where we will talk about specific topics as it relates to fantasy sports, as it relates to just sports in general. And we will draft or will not draft. Last week, we didn't even draft. We just talked about our thoughts on the World Cup and how it relates to things that are going on in society. And then this week, we got a special topic already lined up, but it's a football-related topic. So we're going to also draft a contest on Machiavellian Thoughts, 9:45 p.m. Eastern this Wednesday. And Fridays, we have our Fiesta Fridays, where we come and have a party, y'all. And so join us for that. It's a fun show. But we're going to have guests on Fiesta Fridays. That will be usually when we bring in our guests, and we're trying to line up something, special guest for this Friday as well. Stay tuned. And then on Sundays, we have our Knockout Brunch, which was yesterday, where we had a comparison of 2 players, or we'll sometimes do 2 teams. And we'll see which team is preferred in our fantasy contest this year. And one person will get knocked out. So go ahead and check that show out. It's in our archives from yesterday. Knockout Brunch at 1:45 p.m. Eastern, 10:45 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, so now we are heading into the what? In the 10th round? Yes, 10th round. So we are sitting at a 1-3-4-1. I got Osmos at a 1-4-4. Let's see what he does with this 10th pick. Aaron Jones, 1-5-4. Okay, and so Cactus Jack seems another pretty experienced guy. I've seen that name too. In these streets or in these dailies, I've seen that name. So I play dailies too. Let's go ahead and see what we got going in this next pick. All right. Nico Pickens, J-Mo, Golden. Okay. No. All right, we got Kyler naked. He might not be naked for long. Let's see if we can backstack a guy like a Kyler, but it's not necessary. Because Kyler is one of those dudes that we hope he starts to run a little bit more again this year. But over the past few years, his running has kind of curtailed. I think he's going to maybe have a little bit more energy, focus, in that he's on a team that has high expectations. You know, the expectations have kind of been tempered in Arizona the past few years because they just weren't any good. And maybe this can rejuvenate him, moving to a team that has a lot higher expectations. And so playing with a guy like Jefferson, the bar is high. So maybe he gets some of his mojo back because Kyler's fabulous on the ground when he sets his mind to running. This dude can run, man. I mean, he's got wheels. So those first few years that we won't expect maybe the first few years where he was getting close to 1,000. But, maybe he gets like 600 yards rushing, maybe about 6 touchdowns or something. Because he has really not looked to run at all these past few years. And he's not that great of a thrower to where you can just rely on your arm all the time. He's one of those dudes that need to keep you off balance a little bit with a little bit of a threat of a run, scramble out a little bit, extend some plays. So hopefully he can add some rushing stats to his game here. And so we'll look to get him, and maybe his tight. He doesn't really hit the tight end that much, so I'm not really excited to add a guy like Hawkinson to this room, to my team. Who's the damn third receiver on their team? Do they even have one? Do they have a third receiver? It's hard to find one over in Minnesota, the third receiver. Like, who the hell is it? Maybe it's this guy kind of identified. It's possible. Possibly. But it's not an exciting proposition to get the third receiver on Minnesota. Right? It's like, do they run a lot of 3 receiver sets or do they run a lot of 12 personnel? Because they got that tight end. What's his name? The tight end, the second tight end. I forget his name, but Josh Oliver. Yeah. It's like a blocking guy. So I think they run a fair amount of 12 too. So I don't know if the third receiver has quite as much value as we think. But, you know, I'll see what happens. We'll put him in our queue maybe. Just to see if it's any. Because maybe he gets some touchdowns. Who knows, right? He can get some touchdowns. But we're going to go ahead and add our second tight end, though, right here. We're going to go with Chig Okonkwo, who could be, it could earn him a pretty decent role here this year for Washington with Jaden Downs. Because what's that tight end? Ertz, the old guy. Yeah, he had a couple good, you know, at least one good year there, right? He had that one good year a couple seasons ago. And so Jaden can hit the tight end. You know, they integrated the tight end. Of course, that was under Cliff Kingsbury, but if they know he's comfortable going to the tight end, they'll keep that as part of the offense. So I can see them continuing to do that. I just simply can't take Jawan Jennings over this guy. I can't do it. So I got to take the guy I got rated much higher. So we're going to roll with our guy, Trey Tucker. Yeah, I kept thinking, man, should I backstack Kyler? Not at the expense of Trey Tucker. I'm not going to take you over him. Now, if Trey Tucker wasn't on the board, maybe I'd do it. But I think Trey Tucker could be a very surprising play this year. He's one of those guys that could come out of nowhere, especially if the Raiders don't sign another body here. He could be one of those dudes that emerges in the fashion of like a Parker Washington last year, where he's been known to be a pretty talented kind of guy, but he's just never really broke onto the scene or never really had the opportunity or the starting role or nothing. So this could be one of those kind of stories where he's potentially this year's Parker Washington. Your guy, Trey Tucker. Yeah, it's a possibility. You know, not going to bank on it, but it's worth some shots because if the Raiders don't sign anybody, you know, this guy's looking at a pretty decent amount of snaps there. And so I'm willing to bet on that as a potential outcome where this guy can have a pretty decent season, right? Not really big on Naylor. I think this guy's better than Naylor. And take this from a Raiders fan. I think he's better than Naylor. Naylor's pretty decent, but if I looked at all his, you know, numbers and his metrics, and I just never was impressed. You know, he just had a couple flash moments, but he's not all that good to me. He seemed pretty good. I don't know why they gave him all that money. It seems it's a mystery to me why the Raiders gave this guy this kind of a contract based on his resume. It could be a fit type of thing. Maybe he fits the system. Kirk Cousins and him may have some sort of rapport, but I don't look for Cousins to be the quarterback that long, honestly. So that's another thing. That's another topic altogether. But yeah, I don't think Cousins is going to be holding down that job forever. So maybe our guy, Fernando Mendoza, comes in and takes a spot, man. Don't be shocked if that happens. I won't be shocked if Mendoza actually beats Kirk Cousins out. I won't be shocked at all. I think it's not likely, but it's not out of the possibilities either. Let's go ahead and move the board down a little bit. Where Mendoza just flat out outplays him in training camp and preseason. That's a possibility. All right, so we're heading into the 14th round, late 14th, as we have a 2-4-5-2 build out of the 2-hole. I got lost ones, a 2-5-5-2 out of the 8-hole. All right, so let's see. We got about 5 more clicks to go. And so let's see what we want to do here. As we are on the clock, are we going to go with this guy? How many receivers do we got? 5? Okay. We'll go with this guy. Cowboy. We added a cowboy to the mix with Pickens as well. So we can maybe alternate some games there. Getting a piece of that explosive Cowboys offense. Okay. I think we like this guy here. We'll go ahead and pull him. Well, it's not really a pull up. It's only a few picks ahead of his ADP. We'll go ahead and take Sean Tucker, who should have a goal line role there in Tampa Bay minimum, right? So I do have some concerns about Bucky. I think something is going on with Bucky that we're not really privy to as far as the severity of what injury all entailed. There seems to be some sort of secrecy. Maybe this guy's kind of damaged goods to some degree in their eyes. Because I don't know, the way that they handled this whole offseason by going out, getting a very identical back in Kenneth Gainwell. When you have a certain profile of a back, you normally don't go get the identical kind of a fit. Like, he's just a carbon copy of Bucky Irving. That's what Kenneth Gainwell is. So it's almost like you're saying one of these guys is going to be standing at the end. You're kind of getting some insurance on him instead of just getting like a true backup, which could be a guy who's kind of a different profile. You know, like most teams have, hey, they got a certain back and then they got a change of pace back. They got a certain back and they got a power back to back them up. These dudes are carbon copies. If Bucky Irving goes down and they put in Kenneth Gainwell, if they gave him the same number, you would think he was Bucky Irving because they run and they're at the same size. They run alike. They have the same strengths, weaknesses. So they got a carbon copy. To me, they're trying to protect themselves. That's what that says to me. Hey, when this guy goes down, or if he's not available, we want the same profile to be at our disposal. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. And so I think there's a little more to what's going on with Bucky that meets the eye. I could be kind of reaching, but that's just how I look at it. I don't see teams getting the same carbon copy of a dude to back them up. There's no teams that do that in the round league. So, I don't know. That's just one man's thoughts. But we'll see how it plays out. But we'll see in training camp if Bucky's being managed or anything, or something just seems a bit fishy. We'll know really quick if something is amiss that they're not telling us. Just seems a little fishy in my eyes. All right, we're heading into the middle of the 16th. Let's see what we're looking at over here. We got a few picks to go. 16, 17, 18. We got 3 clicks left. 2, 5, 6, 2. What do we want to do down the stretch here? I think this guy could be an interesting addition. As well as, okay, they are snapping them up. Not on the Jade and Blue train at all. I'll buy it when I see him perform with the pads on. Some of these guys are camp t-shirt warriors, like t-shirt and helmets and shorts warriors. Some dudes, when the pads come on, they become a little different. He strikes me as that kind of dude, this Jade Blue. Is that once the pads come on, let's see what you do now. Things get a little physical. The game changes a little bit once we got pads on. All right, we don't really get much of this guy. But since we got none of the other Washington backs, we'll take a share of him. Katron Allen. As we close out our backfield. And yeah, I think this is a guy I don't get much of, and I wasn't overly thrilled with his profile, but we'll take a share. We will take a share right there. And then we'll take a share of this guy. Torrey Horton. So we got Caleb and Kyler. Kyler unstacked, but we're quite all right with that. We're quite all right with that. In that he does have some legs. So a guy with legs, we're okay. Seeing what he can do. Okay. We might have a surprise pick in the very end. A surprise pick could be in the offering. A surprise pick just to throw caution to the wind. It's one of those 1%. I mean, it's probably even higher than that, but it's a low percentage play. But 1% probably doesn't give it its quite justice, but it's a very low percent play that I'm about to make here. I haven't seen anybody draft this guy, but with the construction of our roster, if it plays out as the possibility suggests, meaning if a certain thing happens and this guy emerges, it could blow the doors off of a team. This could be like a winning play that you just didn't think had any chance of working, or but it does have a chance of working based on a certain thing occurring. And so once I make the pick, you kind of understand it. And we're going to go ahead and review these teams of our guy Lawsomo and my team. If anybody else is out here in this draft on our Midnight Mondays here with GAB in the chat room, if you are here, I will go ahead and give you a review too if you go ahead and ask. So right now we got Lawsomo as well as YUUNGMOOLAHH. And so we'll go ahead and take it from there as we are all about to make our last click. But once again, thanks for joining us. Take the time to go ahead and smash that like button on your way in. As you watch the replay even, smash that like button. Go ahead and help your boy out, because we are on our way to 300 subs. That is our goal. We're slightly over 100 as of today. And so we want to go ahead and reach that goal so we can offer up our free week 1 DFS plays. Yes, we are also in the DFS streets. We had a whole season of content already under our belts that we presented last year. And so we want to go ahead and build upon that this year as we continue to grow this channel. And so we will be willing to release those week 1 top plays and our NFL picks for free if we reach 300 subscribers by the beginning of the season. Week 1, before week 1. Let's go ahead and hit that goal. I'm going to do my part here. We're getting more active on social media, all the different platforms. And so we just want you to do your part here and subscribe to our channel as you come in. Don't just lurk. We appreciate you just coming and check us out, but go ahead and subscribe. We got a lot to offer. We're going to give back to the community in many ways. All right, let's go ahead and make our pick. The secret pick is about to be made. Yeah, we're going to take this guy. What the hell? We're throwing caution to the wind. We are taking Joe Milton. Yeah, since we made a bet on the Cowboys with 2 picks, George Pickens, Ryan Flournoy. What if? What if Dak gets hurt? Isn't that a possibility? It could happen. We're not wishing anything. We're just saying, if it happens, I stand to benefit right here, right? So we'll take a shot like that every blue moon just to take that small percentage chance, something just goes wrong there in Dallas, and maybe Dak comes up lit one game, and maybe he's out for a few games. Who knows? But we'll see. That's not going to be the basis of whether this team succeeds or loses, but it could be why we really win if something drops in our favor. Because Joe Milton is a very talented dude, and if you give him the keys to that offense, I think he can move that offense too. Got a cannon of an arm. He's one of the best runners in the league. So who knows? Worth a shot here with the construction of the lineup. And so we're going to go ahead and give a review to our guy, Lawsimo, as well as myself. Let's go ahead and check it out right here, right now, in the Poodle. I just exited out of the draft. So let me go ahead and get back in the Poodle, right? All right, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so we got, coming out of the 2-hole, YUUNGMOOLAHH. We got a 3-6-7-2 with Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, and yes, we pulled the trigger on a, I would say, 0% owned, definitely less than 0.2% owned Joe Milton. And we got 6 running backs in Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks, Sean Tucker, and Katron Allen. And so we got an anchor hero backfield with Pollard as our number 2, and then a bunch of guys who can mix in and potentially gain stronger roles as the season goes on in Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks, Sean Tucker, and Katron Allen. And our receiving core anchored by Nico Collins, George Pickens, and Jamison Williams. Our top 3 pretty strong guys on good offenses, or at least Nico is number 1 on his offense. The offense may not be great overall, but he's the number 1. And then we got some guys with some upside and some potential to emerge onto the scene in Matthew Golden, Trey Tucker, Ryan Flournoy, and our guy, Torrey Horton. And so we ended it up with 2 tight ends, 2 young guys we really like. One, Colston Loveland, and is entering his 2nd year. The other, Chico Conquo, changing teams, the free agent acquisition for the Washington Commanders. And so there we have this team, 3-6-7-2 here in the Poodle. And we are going to, I think I'm going to do a Joe Milton and maybe a BBM too. Yeah, as my 3rd quarterback. If I end up with a similar kind of instruction where I get 2 Cowboys and I don't get Dak, you might see Joe Milton on a BBM too. I'm not averse to doing that because we like to do things a little different and take a little bit of a risk, because in the end, if it doesn't pay off, the other 2 quarterbacks just better get me there anyway. So that's what we're relying on anyway. So those other 2 dudes better just do their job. All right, so we got our guy, Lawsimo, coming out of the 8-hole. He went with a 3-5-7-3, similar to what I did. I went 3-6-7-2. He went 3-5-7-3. We got Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, Geno Smith. Like that quarterback room. Very solid. All pocket passers, but they're all solid, but teams that can score some points, man. I like the Jets this year. I think a lot of people are undervaluing the Jets, and I think they can have a big season. Got Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, Baishal Tutin, RJ Harvey, and Aaron Jones. Very strong backfield. We have a question mark in Josh Jacobs, but that could be easily wiped away if these accusations end up being moot, which at this point I'm leaning towards that. Doesn't seem like it's much there. A nothing burger, but we'll see. Let the justice play out. But I think this is a very solid backfield, especially if our guy Josh Jacobs emerges charge-free in his case, then you're getting a pretty good discount on what he will eventually settle back at if he's exonerated. So yeah, that backfield could be very strong or kind of in need of help. It depends on that decision right there. That's going to turn the table on that backfield right there. But receiving court, we got Amon-Ra, Drake London, Roma Dunze, Jaden Reed, Jawan Jennings, Dontavian Wicks, and Cooper Kupp. Yeah, another sound receiving core with a lot of A1 players and also experience all throughout. There's no rookies on this receiving core. He's like, I'm not trying to wait for anybody to develop. We want guys who can contribute right away. And so that's what he did. And he got Jake Ferguson, TJ Hawkinson, Cade. So how come you didn't get Dak, man? What happened? Did they snipe you? The CD Lamb dude? Okay, yeah, he must have got him then. Yeah, he took him in the 6th, 7th. So you passed on Dak because you didn't really have a stacking partner at that point. Okay, I see. So Dak, you got the Cowboys later, other than, you got Ferguson later. And you had Javante. So, yeah, he had CD. So I see how it happened. All right, so we want to go ahead and thank you for coming in and joining us here on Midnight Mondays. We are going to check out right here. We're going to check in with our guy Lawson. Sorry, couldn't interact more. I was drafting 10 teams. Oh, man, no big deal. Thanks for just coming by and checking in on us as we are drafting. And we appreciate all the support. Our guy Lawson will checking in. And so we are going to go ahead and sign out right here, right now, and catch you on our Wednesday show, Machiavellian Thoughts. Go ahead and tune in. As you can check out our schedule as we hit the outro. It appears in the outro. And so thank you once again. Midnight Mondays. It was a blast. We did a BBM and we did a poodle as well. So we're going to go ahead and keep trying to pace our drafts out and continue to come with a draft, at least one draft on each show. So we did 2 tonight. We did 3 last Monday. And so at midnight, sometimes you just don't know what to expect, right? Some guy might draft Joe Milton. And so that's what happened tonight. So thank you for joining us. And we will go ahead and see you all on Wednesday. Peace.
I read the board like maps. 3 moves ahead, no cap. You draft on vibes and dreams. I built my league from scratch. My bench got hidden gems. Your roster full of names. I spot the league before it shows. Then pour salt on the game. I trade like a casino. Flip risk in the gold. You chase last week's fireworks. I chase the box score code. I know the soft matchups line up who fades in rain. I turn a sleepy Sunday into a money train. Check the line, I'm locked in. Every we got teeth. You bring a hot take, I bring season long receipts. I got the crown, I got the crown. Draft day, I run this town. Stack my wins, cash my clout. Say my name when lights go out.
It's your boy Young Moolah, man.